Work for the fourth week, holiday homework for week 4. Question 1, question 2, question 3, question 4, 5, 6, question 7, question 8, 9, and lastly question 10. Okay, we are going to do our last holiday homework for week 4. First question, you are given an expression equals another expression equals a third expression. Okay, so you are asked to solve this simultaneous equation. Okay, there are three equations that you can form. You can use this part 1, equate part 2, form one equation, or part 1 equate with part 3, form one equation, or you use part 2 equate to part 3, form one equation. So among the 3 equations, you choose 2 and then solve it. Okay, solve the equation. So I'm going to use the first part equals to the third part, because this is all integer, easier. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I have this equation. I don't like fractions, so I'm going to get rid of the fraction by multiplying 6 throughout. So when I multiply by 6, if I multiply by 6, I'm going to get 9x plus 8y minus 30 equals to 6x plus 6y minus 12. Rearrange and simplify, I get 3x plus 2y minus 18 equals to 0. So I call this equation 1. Next, I'm going to use the second part equate to the third part. So I have 5 over 4x plus 1/3 y minus 1 equals to x plus y minus 2. Okay, now I'm going to multiply, okay, the whole equation, both left and right hand side, by 12. Why 12? Because it is 4 and 3, the LCM is 12. So when I multiply by 12, I'll get 15x plus 4y minus 12 equals to 12x plus 12y minus 24. Rearrange again. I have 3x, okay, minus 8y plus 12 equals to 0. Okay, call this equation 2. So with this equation 1 and equation 2, I'm going to solve for x, solve for y. Okay, I'm going to use equation 1, subtract equation 2. Why do so? Because this is 3x, I subtract 3x, my 3x gone, my term of x is gone, I'm left with y. So when this subtract this, I don't have any more, so I have 2y minus negative means plus 8y. And then I have negative 18 minus 12 and equals to 0. So I'm getting 10y equals to 30. So y equals to 3. So when y equals to 3, I can put into equation 1 or equation 2 to find the value of x. Value of x. So if I substitute y equals to 3 into, let's say, equation 1, I'll have 3x plus 2 times 3 minus 18 is a 0. 3x equals to 18 minus 6, which is a 12. So therefore, x is actually equals to 4. So my x value is 4, my y value is 4, my y value is 3. So I've solved the equation, this pair of simultaneous equation. That's question 1. Question 2. I'm going to use elimination method again. Why elimination method? Can you see that this 2.5, this 7.5, I can times 3 here, I'm going to get 7.5. So equation 1, I multiply by 3, I'm going to get 7.5x plus, okay, plus what? It is also 4.2y, and that equals to 36. Okay, so this is equation 1a because it came from equation 1. So now I'm going to look at equation 1a and 2. So how do I subtract in order to keep it positive? I'm going to use 1a, subtract away equation 2. So when I have 1a subtract away equation 2, my 7.5 is gone. So 4.2y minus negative means plus 4.2y. And then I have 36 minus negative means plus 6. So I'm getting 42 here. I'm going to get 8.4y here. So y is actually a 5. So when my y value is a 5, so I substitute y equals to 5 into which equation? Maybe I should try equation 1 because it's probably the simplest. So 2.5x plus 1.4 times 5 equals to 12. So 2.5x is, this is 7. So 12 minus 7 is a 5. So x will be equals to 2. So y is 5, x is 2. You can do substitution into the equation and see whether it satisfies the equation. Okay, question 2. I need to draw a line that that passes through the point A and B. So A is the point 2, 4. Okay, 2 and 4. And B is the point negative 2 and 3. Negative 2 and 3. So at this point, so I'm getting a straight line like this. Okay, so this is the line that I'm supposed to plot on my draw on the grid. Okay, after this is the graph question answer. Take a few points and see whether you got the same one. You get this 2, 4. Do you get this point negative 2, 3? This point is 4 and 4.5. Drawing, you are supposed to find the equation of the line. Okay, find the equation of the line. To find equation of the line, we first find out what is the gradient. Okay, the gradient, I'm going to use the x, the y, subtract the y, and then divide by x, subtract x. So I have 4 minus 3 over 2 minus negative 2, so it becomes 2 plus 2, which is 1/4. Okay, so 1/4 is the gradient. And then where is the y-intercept? Okay, actually the y-intercept we can go by looking from the graph. What's the y-intercept? Okay, but if we don't want to do that, we can also just substitute any of the 2 points into the equation and find our graph, find our equation. Okay, let's call the equation of line be y is 1/4 x plus c. I'm going to determine what is c. So I'm going to substitute x is 2, y is 4. So I'm getting 4 equals to 1/4 times 2 plus c. So c is actually 4 minus half, so 3.5. So 3.5. So 3.5, I write it as a fraction, it will be 7 over 2. So the equation of the straight line will be y equals to 1 over y equals to 1/4 x plus 7 over 2. So this is question 2, part 1. Then the next part, we need to find a second line L2, which is parallel to this line, passes the origin. Oh, passing origin is easy. That means the gradient, the equation is going to get y-intercept equals to 0. So the y-intercept, which is actually the c, equals to 0. So therefore, equation of L2 now will be y equals to 1/4 x. Then the third part, we want to find a third line which is parallel to the y-axis, passing through the point 2, 4. Parallel to y-axis means it's going to have equation of L3 is going to be vertical lines. So vertical lines will have x equals to something. So x equals to what? X equals to 2 because it passes through the point 2, 4. So x equals to 2. So this is the equation of L3, L2, and L1. Question 3. We are given that the curve passes through the point 2 and 8, but because when it passes through 2 and 8, we can only form the equation of y equals to a times x minus 2 and x minus 8. We cannot leave the a out because we don't know what is the a value for the expression. We only know it cuts at 2 and 8, but we do not know exactly what is the curvature. So what is a? So we have to leave it a there. So one of the point that we get is from the line, from the graph, when x equals to 0, y equals to -8. By substituting this point into this equation, we'll be able to find out what is a. So now, if I know the value of a, and I know that the equation is of this form, because this is the intercept form, right? Remember the intercept form, if I have the points cutting x-axis, so I can form the equation this way. Okay, so when I multiply everything in, I should get a is -½ b is 5, and c is -8. Question 4, you can see these 3 questions. On the numerator is all AB, on the denominator is all x. So when we want to combine them, 10x will be the LCM. So when 5x change to 10x, we multiply a 2. 2x change to 10x, we multiply a 5. And 10x remain as 10x, so there's no change here. So when you expand out, you're getting 6ab minus 6ab, which is a 0. So this answer is a 0. Next question, you have 2 fractions and you want to combine and simplify. So the common denominator will be the product of the 2. So when x minus 2 change to the product of these 2, that means you multiply x plus 2. So you should multiply the same thing for the onto the 4. And then this one, x minus 2 should be multiplied to the 3. Expand out, simplify, and you get the answer. Question 5, you want to simplify, you are not factorizing. So what you should do is, you're supposed to expand out, and then the like terms that can be cancelled, or whatever, you cancel them, and then you're left with -4x. Question 5b, I want to factorize. Okay, 4 terms again. So I'm going to group 2 by 2. So for the first 2 terms, the common factor is x. So I take an x out, I'm getting 2x plus 7. So if I have 2x plus 7 as a factor, that means the other one may have 2x plus 7. So if I were to put negative y out, so I have 2x plus 7. So 2x plus 7 is the common factor. And so first term you have x, second term you have negative y. So therefore the answer is 2x plus 7 times x minus y. Question 6, you want to make h the subject. So can you see that h is multiplied to this, negative g, then add to u, then take square root, then times 2. Okay, then you get your s. So if I want to get h out, the first thing that I should get rid is the number 2. So I divide both sides by 2. Divide both sides by 2. Next, okay, next I want to remove the square root sign. So I'm having s squared over 4 equals to u minus gh. U minus gh. Okay, so here u minus gh is this. So can I say that 4u minus 4gh equals to s squared? So I want to single out the u at the h. So I have 4gh equals to 4u minus s squared. And if I want to make h the subject, that will be 4u minus s squared over 4g. And see, h is the subject. On the other side, there's no more h. And that's the answer. Next one, p cube. I want to make p cube. So p cube, add with r cube, divide by c, take square root, then you get your k. So to do the reverse, to find out what is the p, make p the subject, the first thing we need to do is squaring. Okay, squaring both sides. Okay, after squaring, we want to remove c. So we say ck squared equals to r cubed minus p cubed. Next, I want to make p the subject. So I say p cubed equals to r cubed minus ck squared. So ck squared. So if I want to find the p, I'll take the cube root of r cubed minus ck squared. And that's all. So p is now the subject. P is now the subject. Okay, can you see the last step? I want to find the p. I'll take the cube root. Okay, take the cube root, and so the cube root of this whole thing. So if you make p the subject, this side cannot have any more p. Okay. Next, question 7. I want to find the area of the ABFGED, which is a polygon. I will use the area of the rectangle, which is the whole area of ABCD. So the area of the whole rectangle is 3 times x plus 1 multiply with x plus 3. So that is the length times the width. Okay, and subtract away area of triangle. At the corner, half base times height, and there are 2 of them because it's folded. Okay, so the 2 of them, the 2 triangles, subtract away. So now I have here 3 times of x squared plus 4x plus 3 minus away 12. So I have 3x squared plus 12x is plus 9 minus 12, so it's minus 3. So this is in square centimeter. And if this area is given to be 93 square centimeter, so how do we find the value of x? So 93. So 3x squared plus 12x minus 96 is 0. See again, our one side is 0. So take 3 out. We have x squared plus 4x minus 32 equals to 0. So 3 times this equals to 0. 3 cannot be 0. Therefore, x squared plus 4x minus 32 is a 0. So this is what we are supposed to show. Okay. Next is to solve this. To solve this equation, again, we're going to use the cross method. X plus 8 times x minus 4 equals to 0. So x plus 8 is a 0, or x minus 4 is a 0. So x is a 4 or x is negative 8. This has to be rejected because you can see from the diagram, x plus 3. If our x is negative 8 plus 3, that will be negative 5. A length cannot be negative 5 units, so it has to be rejected. Okay, next is, after getting this, okay, first part, second part, third part, solve this equation already, right? Then we want to find the length of FB. So the length of FB is the full length subtract away 4. So the full length, which is 3 times of 4 plus 1. Okay, so this is the full length minus away 4. So we are having 15 minus 4. So it is 11 centimeter. 11 centimeter. Next, question 8. We want to find the value of this expression without using a calculator. Can you see that when you have m 87, n 86, if you were to do substitution into every one of them, you're going to get everything into very tedious working. So what we're going to do is we are going to simplify using algebra first. Can you see that there's a common factor of m? So I will have m plus n. I factorize the numerator. Also, denominator contains 2 terms, and these 2 terms has a common factor of m plus n. So I take it out. So I have m minus n. So now I can see that if I divide both numerator and denominator by m plus n, then I'm getting a final answer of m over m minus n. Okay, only when you reach this step, then you go and do your substitution. So this is 87, this is 87 minus 86, which is a 1. So your answer is just 87. So the next question also the same. We will try to simplify first before we do substitution. Okay, can you see this is a squared minus b squared? I will put it to be a plus b times a minus b. So that's how I factorize the numerator. And for the denominator, can you see that x is a common factor? So I take x out. I'll have x minus y plus 1. Okay, can you see this? X minus y plus 1, x minus y plus 1. So if I divide numerator and denominator by the same value, okay, I'm going to cancel this 2, so 1 here. So now my answer is actually x plus 1 plus y divided by x. And now I can do substitution now. So my x value is 20, 1, and then 99 divided by 20. So can you see this is 100, 120 divided by 20. So the answer is 6. That is, can you see? Yes, the answer is 6. Okay. Next, question 9. you want to find the value of s if given that r is equals to 1/3, a equals to 18. So you want to find c, so we just do substitution. No? So 2 times 18 divided by 1 minus 1/3 square, which is 2 times 18 divided by this one is 8 over 9. Divide by 8 over 9 means times 9 over 8. And so we have 81 over 2, which is 40 and a half. Next one, getting the same one, but I'm going to make r the subject. Okay, I want to make r the subject. Can you see the r is at the denominator here? So what I can do is I'm going to do cross multiply. I'm going to use s times 1 minus r squared equals to 2a. So multiply this in, I have s minus sr squared equals to 2a. So I want to make r as the subject. This is a term that I'm interested in. So I'm going to keep this term and make it positive. So I'm imagining plus the term on both sides. And so I have s minus 2a. Can you see I'm like shifting the terms around? Okay, so I want to get r, right? So I need to get rid of the s. So s minus 2a divided by s. So I want to get value of r, right? Not r squared, but r. So I'm going to take the square root of s minus 2a over s. Positive or negative? Because it's possible to have positive or negative. Because we don't know what's the value of r. R need not be a positive number. It might be a negative number. Okay, so we have to take both roots. Okay, question 10, last question. When you solve this kind of question, always remember to find the very trim denominator. Don't just dump everything. Okay, so you see 2 minus x. This 4 minus 2x, can I put it to be 2 times 2 minus x? Okay, so this one I can also change to 2 minus x. So can you see that all of them can be changed to 2 minus x? So can I say the first term is 3 over 2 minus x? The second term is 5 over 2 and 2 minus x. Then the third term, I'm going to put it to be 2 minus x also. What I use is I use the negative to multiply into the denominator, so it becomes positive. So it is 1 over 2 minus x. So can you see? I'm having 2 minus x, 2 minus x, 2 minus x, but this one got a 2 multiplied to it. So the common denominator will be 2 times 2 minus x. So when 2 times 2 minus x is multiplied to both sides, when you multiply it to, there are 3 terms here, so you use distributive law, the 2 times 2 minus x will be multiplied to every single term here. So here you're going to have 3 into 2. And then the next one is just 5 because there's nothing multiply. Okay, and the next one is going to be a 2. And on the other side, you're going to have 4 times 2 times 2 minus x. So can you see that now? I'm actually getting 13 here, and then this is going to be 8 minus, no, 16. 16 minus 8x. So 8x is actually 3. So x is actually 3/8. Question 10b. 10b. Okay, before we add, we have to see whether this term can it be simplified or not. Can you see the numerator? I can factorize it to be x plus 1, x minus 1. And the denominator, I can factorize it to be 2 times x plus 1. can you see that I actually can do cancellation? Because I divide both numerator and denominator by x plus 1. So I'm getting x minus 1 over 2 and x over 4 equals to 1. So common denominator will be 4. So 2 multiply x minus 1 plus x equals to 4. I multiply 4, 4, 4 to every term. So I'm getting 2x minus 2 plus x equals to 4. So I have 3x equals to 6. So x is actually equals to 2. So this is the answer for question 10b. That's all. And you get all of them correct. After doing so many exercises already, you should be able to get all correct answer for this one. Right? Well done.